Ntwa ena e kgolo feta tse bileng teng.
Bandile Tlali.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ASR, African Stories Realized. This is our weekly review of Outlaws Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. Episode 3 picks up in Lesotho following the kidnapping of some Zulu guests who attended Sihle and Leroy's wedding. An angry Bandile arrived at the Tlali homestead, where he immediately confronted Leroy, accusing him of working with Tlali. A shocked Leroy insisted that Tlali was dead, but Bandile continued his interrogation, pulling his pistol before a tussle which was brought to an end by Leroy's mom. Bandile revealed that Tlali had called him and demanded a ransom of 50 cows for the hostages and threatened to kill his cousin Mthunzi. Moretlo insisted that if indeed Tlali is alive, she knew where to find him. Moretlo took Bandile to Tladi's father, Leabua's home, where Bandile interrogated him, despite the old man insisting that he didn't even know that Tladi was still alive. Bandile then went to a local bar looking for Tladi, where he caused a scene and threatened the patrons. Back at the Tlali homestead, Leroy was still in denial about Tladi still being alive, as him and his new bride argued about Bandile's behavior. Leroy then confided in his friend Teko, revealing his determination to make sure that Tladi stays dead. Sihle then had an argument with her brother before making up with Leroy, as the couple reminded us that it's still their honeymoon. Meanwhile, at Tladi's camp, he congratulated his followers for a successful operation. The hostages were brought before Tladi, where him and his wife disciplined those who openly refused to acknowledge him as king. Tladi then threw a massive party for his followers, where Nyakalo gave Buang credit for leading the operation. Buang then brought food for the hostages, and while some of them rejected it, Mthunzi immediately started eating before thanking Buang for her kindness and treating them like humans, as the two shared a moment looking into each other's eyes. At the Tlali homestead, the police arrived to follow up on the kidnappings, but they insisted that Tlali couldn't be the suspect because he was no more. The hot-headed Bandile insisted that Tlali was the culprit and threatened the police officers. The episode ends with Bandile getting himself arrested after fighting with the police. Episode 4 picks up with Bandile fresh out of jail getting into a physical altercation with Leroy. The brothers-in-law tussled as Sihle watched on in horror, while Spamola held her back. Bandile, Leroy and Spamola then went to the bar to share a drink together, where they spotted one of Tladi's spies recording them. They chased him down and interrogated him, before taking him to a remote area where they were ambushed by Tladi's followers. Tladi called Bandile, questioning where his ransom was, before Bandile grabbed the spy they were interrogating and put a gun to his head. Meanwhile, at Tladi's camp, Leabua arrived to report that Bandile and Moretlo had been looking for him. Buang then accidentally fired her weapon, grazing one of the hostages. Tladi confronted her, but Mthunzi took the blame. However, it did not spare Buang, as Tladi slapped her across the face after scolding her. Buang then berated Mthunzi for trying to be a hero, and Mthunzi used the opportunity to get close to her and steal the keys to their handcuffs. The other hostages later confronted Mthunzi for flirting with Buang before he revealed that he stole the keys to set them free, but was waiting for the right time, insisting that they'll do things his way. Back at the Tlali homestead, Moretlo invited 3 cattle raiding rivals to discuss the possibility of joining forces together to stop Tlali, who she suspected was responsible for the disappearance of children in the community and was using them to build his own army. She warned them that war was coming before they agreed to work together as the new top 4. Back at KZN, the community became increasingly restless with the lack of efforts to recover their people. A mob gathered at the Biela home, forcing Nolandle to reassure them that Bandile was doing everything he could to bring the Zulu hostages back. The mob left, but an even more hostile one returned later. Emmanuel and Deli insisted that they had to evacuate the home, but a stubborn Nolande refused to leave. The angry mob threw a rock through the window that hit Nolande and made her fall to the ground. And the episode ends with them setting the Biela home on fire with a Molotov cocktail. It was another action-packed episode from Outlaws Season 2 and a perfect follow-up to last week's premiere, as it was revealed that most of the community believed that he was dead. There was a scene where an injured Litsa arrived at the Tlali homestead with Sihle attending to her, but they didn't really build on it, and I have to question if they meant that scene for today. Cause next time we saw Sihle, she was serving tea like nothing happened. And honestly, Sihle had very little to do today, but she is the emotional link that brings Bandile and Leruo together. There actually might be some conflict in the future between the couple, because Sihle thinks Leruo gave up stealing cows for her, but it's pretty evident that they're still raiding cattle, and in his defense, it's a family business. Bandile was on a rampage today, but his destructive behavior gives me the feeling that he might die this season. I did like that him and Leruo started working together after their fight. I think they just needed to get it out of their system. It was disappointing that they left us on a cliffhanger with the standoff between Bandile and Tlali's followers. It sucks that I have to wait a week for the resolution to that scene. Mtunzi and Buang were full on flirting today, and it was hilarious to see the other hostages call him out for not wanting to leave. However, I do respect that he was still focused enough to steal the keys to the handcuffs. I'm almost certain that Buang and Nyakalo are related, and you could tell from Nyakalo's reaction when Tlali slapped Buang. I was afraid the show would lean heavily into the supernatural following Tlali's resurrection, but I'm glad they took the grounded approach of using it as a test of faith and belief. The concern with Nolande is that she's pregnant, so I hope this incident doesn't put her or the baby in danger. Bandile will also have to come back to KZN to be by her side, so I have to question the logic this mob was using if getting the hostages back is indeed what they wanted. The scenes in KZN with the mobs were a bit out of place, but it was cool to see a heavily pregnant Nolande defending the property. It just felt short-lived because the other mob attacked soon after. The shots of Lesotho's scenery are amazing, and like I said last week, you can feel the increased quality in cinematography, set designs, and costumes. There was a lot of setup today and not much resolution, but this season is definitely exceeding my expectations so far. Feel free to leave your reviews in the comments. Outlaws Season 2 is streaming every Monday on Showmax. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ASR for the love of African filmmaking and storytelling.